Happy Sunday night, y'all. We actually didn't have any questions, so I thought I can just chat for a minute, give you guys a couple of things to think about, give you some references, and then let you get on with your night. So I'm going to start with a deep thought here. Bear with me. I am evangelical. I like to say I love that word. From rural Middle Tennessee. Church was what we did on Sunday mornings, without fail. To this day, and especially during COVID, any Sunday morning when I did not attend church, there's a twinge of guilt. Like I've done something wrong. I'm going to be in trouble just because it was that big a deal when I was growing up. And old habits don't die easily, and they don't die at all. So why am I mentioning religion, since we're not supposed to talk about that in the business ever? And frankly, it's not something I ever really discuss here. It's to tell you that one thing that runners have in common is that sense of guilt. The thing you don't do, the thing you plan to do, only it's a little bit more often than once a week. There might be days right now in this current summer, which is one of the hottest on record, with bigger wildfires than we've ever had on record. There are more reasons to not get a workout done than any other year that I have experienced on this earth. So I wanted to make sure that you heard it from me. If you're having trouble getting motivated, if you're having trouble getting out of bed, if you're having trouble getting up early, if you're having trouble about getting excited to do this thing, that, I promise you, is normal, and it's not actually a bad thing. Here is a link to, hopefully that shows up in the chat everywhere, a link to the blog on fitness protection. If you just go to the blog, fitnessprotection.com/blog, and search for the word wildfire or for the word smoke, that is my recommendations for running in smoke. Because the three things you need to remember: when the air quality is bad, there's less oxygen available for you to breathe. To that oxygen is going to be coupled with really dangerous stuff. So your lungs are going to constrict to keep the bad stuff out, which is going to feel like you're working twice as hard as you need to be working. In a lot of places, there is a whole lot of fire and not a whole lot of wind. So the air might be danker, for lack of a better term, more humid, harder to breathe, with less movement than what you're used to. It's just sort of like sitting in the air first thing in the morning, and you almost need gills to move through it. All of those are very real, tangible offsets of wildfire. So if being outside doesn't work out, I mean, who could get excited to run in that? There's nothing wrong with you. Absolutely not. If you can run inside, and that's obviously a safer option, do it. But if you don't, again, don't worry about it. This is not a normal year in so many ways. And if you got my emails earlier this week, you've seen that two of the bigger events, the flagship events for the rest of this year for rock and roll, are not going to be happening. And I do think that's a sign of things to come. So I stand by what I said last year. Everybody's now looking to see what's going to happen and how the Olympics are going to go, which will then determine what happens in Berlin and whether or not we're going to be able to hold any big races with the Delta variant spreading as rapidly as it seems to be. So tell you all that to tell you this: if you're not running right now, or you're not where you had expected to be, good news is your race might not be happening anyway. Yay! So you're not really behind. But what you're here for, and what we do, the thing I care about the most, it's the opportunity to start again tomorrow. And I want to give a shout out to the 3 people this week who just downloaded July. And I absolutely love that. And I mean it. I know it's the last week of July, but I don't really care. These people said, you know what, I'm starting now. Who cares? And they're just going with it. I don't know if they applied it the first of the month or if they applied it starting tomorrow. And it doesn't matter to me. What matters is this. This is your training. This is your life. You're an adult. You're great at adulting. And if there's a part of you that feels the way on a day that you don't run, or a day when the weather's not good enough to run, that I still feel on Sunday mornings, where I'm like, going to church? Nope. Or my mom calls and I'm like, I have to not answer, because if I do answer, she'll know I'm not in church and then I'm going to be in trouble. It's just a conversation at 42 years old I don't feel like having with anyone anymore, let alone my mother. So with that in mind, I'm not my mother, and I'm not going to be judging any of you. I don't care how long it's been since your last run. You're still a runner. It's not, I know people like to say you are what you do. I like to say you are what you've done. You are what you want to do. You are whatever it is you want to be. I kind of don't care, and I don't judge it by the regularity of it. I didn't really run last week. Got a new pair of shoes, so I'm going to run a lot more this week, I think. But that has a lot to do with the wildfires too. So I don't want you to force anything that's unnatural. And I don't want you to do anything that's painful, because last thing I want you to do is waste energy or a single moment of your precious life doing work that does not work for you. So if your race is canceled, if you feel nervous about being behind, all we have to do is maintain, and then that option to race will still be there later. And if this isn't the right season for you, if training for a marathon in the middle of wildfire season, breathing in the smoke, doesn't sound good to you, I think that makes you sane and sentient. I don't think it makes you a quitter, and I'm not going to let anyone else tell you that it does. So with that in mind, remember that you are coached, you are loved, and you are winning at life. Whether or not you run this week or whether you don't, doesn't matter to me. I hope it doesn't matter to you. That said, I'm hoping that even if you're not able to run right now, you're able to do something fun, carve out some time for yourself, carve out some time for self-care. I know I was walking a lot the last 2 weeks. When I could get out, I just couldn't move because the air was so bad. But now I'm probably going to go for a walk after this, and I'm excited about that, because at the end of the day, it's time on your feet that matters more than anything else. So as long as you're doing something, then you're keeping those joints lubricated and ready to go when the day comes, if the day comes that you're ready to pick things up again. So if there's a part of you that's feeling that guilt, that's feeling a little behind, I want to remind you, we don't know what's coming. We're facing a whole lot of uncertainty. So you can't be certain that you're behind at all. And I'm not going to let you think that way. So enjoy the rest of your week. If you change your mind and you do have some questions, throw them in the chat. Aaron will make sure that I see them and I answer them right away. Either way, hope to see you soon. Be safe out there.